Hello guys, how are you doing today? I hope you are all doing well and healthy. As you can see, we got the Christmas tree in the back. It is officially November, which we talked about in my last video, but it's closer to December. Every day it's getting closer to December, which is undisputably the best time of year. Well, and fall actually. Fall's really good too. I don't know. So I was eating lunch today, and well, actually it wasn't even really lunch, it was just apples and Nutella. And I got a text message from my mom. It was sent to me in the group chat with my mom and dad. And it was basically saying that, like, we should, for next year's Christmas, we should, go to the Smoky Mountains and do something different. And we might not be able to, like, buy as much presents and stuff, but it would be a great trip. And instantly, I was just like, no. Not because it wouldn't give as much presents, but because it would be something different. Because I'm used to waking up every morning at like 4 for Christmas, running downstairs, looking at the trees with all the lights in my house, even though I've moved like 3 times since my childhood. But either way, it's been the same kind of routine. And then later that evening, going to my aunt's house. And that has usually been our routine every single year. And I didn't want anything about that to change, because that is the most nostalgic thing in the world for me, with like Christmas and things. But I don't know why I kind of thought about this a lot, because I do kind of have to make a decision. But like, I'm getting older, like things are changing in my life, and things are bound to change. One day I'm going to be having these Christmases with the family of my own, hopefully. Things can't always stay the exact same as much as I would like them to, because I am physically growing, mentally growing, and the world around me is too. Nostalgia is a funny thing, because it really does make you look back at everything with rose-tinted glasses, even though those times could have been really great. It's just that feeling of nostalgia. It's almost like, how they say that like scientists can't explain the feeling of love? That's the same thing with nostalgia. Nobody can explain it, because it's different for everybody, and the feeling is very complicated. Like, I remember being in 4th, 5th grade, hating school. I hated school, but now I would do literally anything just to go back to that. I also remember like 2020, I freaking hated Fortnite, even though I played it every single day. I hated how the game was going because I was bored with the season. Now I would do literally anything to go back to that. I wouldn't say hate, it was actually a pretty fire season, but I was still kind of getting bored with it, okay? But also, I feel like a lot of people, they always try to compare old things that they look back on with rose-tinted glasses to now, which they won't look at with rose-tinted glasses because, well, we're in the moment right now. And I think, it's great to look back on things. It's great to be nostalgic and appreciate those times, but don't let it jeopardize the time that you're having now. If you're always comparing the past, which you are just looking at it in such a higher light than it really was, to now, which you are going to look at in 5-10 years with those same rose-tinted glasses, because we're always evolving, things are always changing, and sometimes we miss the more simple times, or sometimes we miss the times just simply because we will never get them back. But that does not mean the time that we're having now is unvaluable and unimportant and not good. I've been seeing a lot of people saying like, oh, my parents told me how much they miss high school and how much I'm gonna miss it, and they're just wrong. High school is terrible right now. And I'm just like, but they've been 16, 17, 18 years old before. You've never been 40 years old before. You don't know, okay? I said the same exact thing about middle school like 5 years ago. I was like, dude, I'm never gonna miss this. I hate this. Guess what? I want you to take a guess. Guess what? I miss it. Because that feeling of leaving 8th grade, I was like, oh my God, I'm finally going to high school. And now 3 years later, I miss middle school. But I'm not taking for granted the time I'm having in high school either. Even though sometimes I can catch myself doing that. We're all human, okay? But it's really important to try your best to not do that. Like, I have all these people, including me, I literally made a video about it, saying how much they missed 2016 because it was such a peak year. I was 7 years old. 7 years old was peak. But back then, people were saying how much they hated 2016. Like, literally. So take everything with a grain of salt, okay? No, we're never going to go back to 2016. We're never going to go back to 2020. We're never going to go back to 2018. But also, after this year's over, we're never going to go back to 2025. And I think that's beautiful. I think that gives life purpose. The fact that we're never going to be in this exact moment again, so we might as well make the most of it. Time is inevitable, okay? All we can do is enjoy the time we have on this earth, because it is very limited. We never know how many days we'll have left, how many seconds, how many minutes, how many hours. All we know is that we have the opportunity to spend that time with as much care and gratitude as possible. Like, I am sitting in my room right now. It's like 4 or 5 p.m. You know, the sun is setting. It's November. It's really great. It's a great time to be alive. Okay, I was just playing OG Fortnite out of nostalgia. Well, I wasn't just playing. I was playing this morning. Okay, I was playing out of nostalgia, but I can also appreciate the new Simpsons season is fire. By the way, you know, I literally have an album called Nostalgia Ultra right there, which is about nostalgia. Because it's okay to be nostalgic, but it's not okay to not appreciate the moment at hand. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a great freaking day, okay? And I want you to spend this day wisely, spend the next however many days you have alive left wisely. I'm not saying you're gonna die soon. I hope all of y'all live happy, glorious lives. But I'm just saying, live every single one of those days wisely, okay? I love y'all. Goodbye. Have a great day.